My name is Alaric Thorne, the Dimensional Library's bookkeeper and custodian of its countless mysteries. This is not a title granted lightly, nor a burden taken without reverence. The library is not merely a collection of books. It is a nexus, a repository of knowledge gathered from countless dimensions and worlds. Its towering shelves stretch infinitely, spiraling upward into unseen heights and delving into cavernous depths, each row containing tomes, scrolls, and artifacts from realms beyond comprehension. The air here hums faintly, charged with the energy of the realities it bridges. The walls are adorned with shifting murals, depicting events from distant universes that only the library has witnessed. Light filters in through stained glass windows that depict constellations unrecognizable to mortal eyes, their colors shifting with the passage of unseen celestial bodies. The books themselves are alive in their own way, imbued with the essence of the worlds they come from. Some whisper softly, their voices unintelligible yet strangely soothing, while others radiate a quiet menace, warning away all but the most determined readers. My role as bookkeeper is to preserve, protect, and catalog this vast collection. I am its steward, tasked with ensuring that the knowledge it holds is neither lost nor misused. Each book, each artifact, tells a story, some beautiful, others tragic, and a few too dangerous to recount. Among these volumes, there are those that resonate deeply with me, tales of bravery and despair, of worlds on the brink of ruin or rebirth. One such tale is that of Gillian, a man whose journey began with an unassuming artifact, a mirror. The book recounting his story is bound in deep indigo leather, its cover embossed with the image of a crescent moon framed by an ornate silver border. I discovered it tucked within a section of the library reserved for artifacts connected to portals and dimensional travel. As I read, the words seemed to come alive, transporting me to the seeker's world. It is his story, not mine, that I now share with you. The seeker's tale began with a mirror, an antique of exquisite craftsmanship, its ornate silver frame entwined with motifs of moons and stars. He discovered it one moonlit evening, tucked away in an old family attic. Its surface, though dusty, reflected the light with an almost unnatural clarity. Intrigued, he brought it to his bedroom, intending to clean and appraise it. This tale, titled The Mirror of Aeons, recounts what transpired next. When the moonlight struck the mirror at its fullest, it came alive. The reflection dissolved, replaced by a swirling, silvery portal. It pulled at his very essence, an unspoken invitation he could not refuse. Whether driven by curiosity or fate, he stepped through. He emerged in a world that was both beautiful and broken. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the horizon was dominated by jagged mountain ranges. Yet there was a foreboding silence, an absence of birdsong or rustling leaves. In the distance, he saw the remnants of a once great city, crystal spires shattered, streets overrun by nature, and faintly glowing obelisks crumbling under time's weight. It wasn't long before he encountered the inhabitants of this realm. They were human, but their eyes were hollow with weariness and fear. They were clothed in tattered garments, their hands roughened by labor. He watched from the shadows as they hauled massive stones under the watchful gaze of their captors, giants, towering beings with a single cyclopean eye that glimmered with cruel intelligence. These giants were armored in crude, earthen plates and wielded weapons that seemed more extensions of their mountainous surroundings than forged tools. From what he gleaned, the giants had not always been tyrants. The humans, he later learned, had built an advanced civilization in harmony with the environment. They drew power from crystals embedded deep within the earth, harnessing their vibrational energy to fuel cities, heal ailments, and sustain their people. When the giants first appeared, they were treated as guests, given aid and shelter. But kindness was met with betrayal. The giants turned on their benefactors, crushing their crystal infrastructure and enslaving those who survived the initial onslaught. A century later, humanity's remnants either toiled under the giants' command or lived as fugitives in the wilderness, hunted relentlessly. He met the rebels by chance. A group of them, emaciated but resolute, ambushed him when he wandered too close to their forest hideout. Once convinced he was not a threat, they shared their plight. Among them was Mara, a fiery young leader who spoke of a desperate plan to reach the ruins of their ancient capital and rekindle the dormant technology that had once empowered their people. They believed the crystals might still hold the key to overthrowing the giants. Though an outsider, the seeker felt compelled to help. Perhaps it was the weight of their despair or the faint hope glimmering in Mara's eyes. Whatever the reason, he joined their cause. Their journey to the ancient city was fraught with danger. The giants patrolled the forests, their massive strides shaking the ground. Mara's knowledge of the terrain kept them one step ahead, but barely. One night, under the pale light of the moon, the group stumbled into a clearing only to hear the heavy footsteps of giants approaching. 3 of the towering creatures emerged, their singular eyes gleaming with malice as they spotted the rebels. Panic gripped the group, but Gillian quickly took command, his mind racing for a solution. "Scatter into the trees," he hissed, gesturing toward the dense forest. "I have a plan to distract them." As the rebels darted into the shadows, Gillian retrieved a small shard of crystal he had taken from an earlier ruin. He had noticed how the crystals resonated with sound and light, and he hoped to use that to their advantage. Climbing a nearby boulder, he struck the crystal against the rock, producing a high-pitched hum that echoed through the clearing. The giants roared in anger and confusion, their attention drawn to the sound. Gillian led them on a chase, carefully guiding them away from the others. Each time they drew close, he struck the crystal again, the vibrations causing the giants to flinch and slow. When he reached a narrow ravine, he lured them in and doubled back along a hidden path, leaving the giants trapped in the rocky crevice. Reuniting with the group, Gillian found Mara staring at him with a mix of relief and newfound respect. "That was reckless," she said, though her tone carried a hint of admiration. "But effective." Gillian shrugged, his breath still heavy. "We'll need every advantage we can get if we're going to reach the city." They traveled by moonlight, the only time when the giant's single eye could not see as clearly. When they finally reached the ruins, the sight was both awe-inspiring and tragic. The city's core was a towering structure of crystal and stone, its central spire fractured but still emitting a faint, pulsating glow. As the rebels worked to reactivate the city's power grid, the Seeker explored the remaining archives, searching for insights into their technology. The crystals, as it turned out, were not mere conduits but symbiotic entities that required harmony between their users and the environment. The destruction wrought by the giants had disrupted this balance. Restoring it would require more than machinery. It demanded the very will of the people. With the ancient city's systems coming to life, the rebels knew they had gained an advantage, but their fight was far from over. Gillian and Mara gathered the group around the glowing central spire, its energy a faint promise of protection and strength. Together, they crafted a daring plan to strike at the mountains and free their people from the giants' labor camps. Using the knowledge Gillian had gained from the city's archives, he refined the ancient systems to create a defensive shield around the city, ensuring it would remain a sanctuary while they were gone. Gillian also enhanced the crystal-powered forges, producing weapons that channeled concentrated bursts of energy, giving the rebels a means to stand against the giants' overwhelming might. Under the cover of night, the rebels began their mission. They moved like shadows through the forest, avoiding patrols and using the newfound weapons to disable the giants' crude machinery. Gillian's ingenuity proved invaluable as he bypassed ancient locks and mechanisms in the camps, freeing groups of enslaved humans. Many of the liberated joined their cause immediately, their despair turning to defiance at the prospect of returning to the city. After days of careful raids, the rebels returned to the city with their ranks swelled by those they had saved. The shield shimmered as they passed through, the once quiet city now alive with activity. Families reunited, and the liberated people began to organize under Mara's leadership, preparing for the inevitable retaliation from the giants. And retaliate they did. The giants, enraged by the rebels' success, descended from the mountains in greater numbers than ever before. But this time, they faced a city fortified with both ancient technology and the indomitable spirit of its defenders. As the giants approached, the city's defensive systems roared to life, sending arcs of energy crackling through the air. Gillian's weapons, now wielded by hundreds, unleashed coordinated bursts that staggered even the largest of the giants. The battle raged for hours, the earth trembling beneath the clash of forces. Gillian, positioned at the central spire, coordinated the city's defenses, directing energy surges to the shield and ensuring the weapons remained operational. Mara led the ground forces, her voice a rallying cry that inspired the defenders to hold their ground. Despite their size and strength, the giants faltered. The unity of the city's defenders and the power of ancient technology proved too much for them. As dawn broke over the mountains, the giants began to retreat, their once imposing figures diminished in the light of a new day. The city erupted in cheers, a sound that echoed through the valley and beyond. For the first time in a century, humans stood not as scattered fugitives but as a unified people, determined to reclaim their world. The city, now fully restored, became a beacon of hope and a stronghold against the giants' oppression. Gillian stood at the central spire, the morning sun casting its golden light over the bustling city. Mara approached him, her face still streaked with the dirt of battle, but softened by a rare smile. "You could have left," she said quietly, her voice filled with gratitude and curiosity. Gillian shook his head, his gaze lingering on the horizon. "I've spent my life surrounded by stories, recording the triumphs and tragedies of others. But here I can be part of something real. This is where I'm needed." Together, they watched as the liberated people began rebuilding their homes and lives, the city a vibrant symbol of resistance and renewal. Gillian's knowledge and resourcefulness had become indispensable, and the people now looked to him not as a stranger, but as a leader and ally. The book ends with Gillian fully embracing his new home, dedicating himself to its people and their future. His story, once just another tale on the library's endless shelves, became a living testament to the power of courage, unity, and the choice to stand and fight for something greater than oneself. As I close the book and return it to its shelf, I wonder how many other mirrors in the library hold portals to worlds unknown. To any who reads this account, beware the gaze of mirrors under moonlight. You may find more than your reflection staring back. Until next time, good night from the Dimensional Library.